Her Hoop Stats brings you live. Episode 20, maybe?
Something
Christy
like
Winter Scott, my dear friend. This is Debbie Antonelli. Hoopin with Christy and Debbie. Uh, where are you, Christy?
I am currently at WJLA in Washington, D.C. The Wizards have their opening night tonight, and I am doing the morning show in about 45 minutes to an hour. So I have time, to get our pod in.
Yeah,
Where are you?
I'm in my car outside Frankie's apartment. Today is National Down Syndrome Day, and I'm telling you right now, there is a party going on in there, and it was so loud that I had to come out of my car.
Oh,
But we are going to Atlanta today from Clemson. I'm riding the Clemson Life bus. I am moderating and emceeing an event at the College Football Hall of Fame for it's called the Big Game Ball, and it's recognizing that all the post-secondary educational experiences for colleges that have these programs like Clemson and Georgia Tech,
yeah.
Auburn, and then NC State. My dear bud Dave Doran, the head football coach at NC State, he and his wife Sarah are getting an award. So I'm going to the event tonight on the bus, emceeing the event, riding the bus back to Clemson with a 10 o'clock tea time in Raleigh tomorrow. So all that's happening in a very short 24 hours.
Yeah. Short, eventful, and joyful. How about that? Oh my
Yeah,
God,
that
awesome.
bus today will be awesome because the Clemson Life students will be on the bus. So that's a party in itself. But then they have a little extra, like Frankie's told me 3 times today that it
Yeah.
is his holiday. It is a
Oh,
national holiday. And I'm like, dude, every day is a holiday for you. But yes, we'll celebrate and do something special today.
I love it. Oh, every day's a holiday
Yeah.
and a special day. And Debbie, I love that so much.
Yep.
Oh, I love that they have the programs that are so
Yeah.
inclusive for everybody. And it's
So
that's how it should be. I love it.
we've been on journeys with our own kids, right? So, I mean, we've shared our journeys with our kids together because we're friends. But um, I'm really exceptionally proud of this event today. This is our third year. I went to the first, I couldn't make the second, but it
Yeah.
does recognize and raises money for the National Down Syndrome Association. And there is money that goes back to these schools for their programming on campus. And I mean, anybody can go to the College of Education website at NC State and check out the new program that will be launching in January. It's called Elevate,
I
and that is I don't want to take up our time here because this is a basketball podcast. However, Elevate is my baby. I spent 3 years on campus trying to get NC State convinced to do it, and finally they did. And the North Carolina General Assembly helped as well with $3 million, and it's recurring funds for NC State to start their program. And
wow.
without getting into too much detail,
No, I love
while while
it.
this was being discussed on the House floor
Okay.
in the state of North Carolina, there was North Carolina Central in the room. Their representatives raised their hand and said, "What about us?" And
Oh,
honestly, there's one HBCU that has a program, Tennessee State. It's the only one. And Clemson's acceptance rate is 10%. That's one out of every 10 families that gets to experience what we've experienced. So
wow.
it's an incredible part of my give back was to help NC State understand why they needed it, what it would do for the university, and how it would fully
Right.
uh, equal their land grant mission, which is to serve all the population of the state of North Carolina. So thankfully, Chancellor Woodson agreed, and many
Yeah.
people on campus. It took a little convincing, but they finally agreed. And then, hey, listen, when $3 million rolls into your budget to create a program, I think they ought to be. They'll be thanking me profusely one day. Sometimes I think they're cursing me because of all the work that it's required. But it's going to be great for North Carolina. Really great.
Oh, Debbie, I love that. And I also have a really good friend, Wes Hall, who works with the Mystics and Wizards with me here in DC. And he's a Tennessee State alum. So I need to connect you two
Yeah.
because obviously everyone loves their alma mater, right? But when you said that, I completely was reminded that I
Well,
need to connect you.
North Carolina Central. We will at NC State launch our program, and then they will be our sisters, and we will launch first and help them. get started, because two startups is hard at the same time. So we're going to work
Okay,
in collaboration with them, and I couldn't be more proud of that. Just because every family should have an opportunity to experience what we've experienced. It's so
absolutely.
good. I'll send you some pictures from the bus today, man. It'll be like they'll be cranked up, man. These kids. They're young adults, and they have the time of their life together. It's so fun.
I love it. It's very sweet. I'm going to be waiting with bated breath on those pictures and videos because I love good juju, and that sounds like
Yeah.
so fun for everyone involved. Debbie, that is so sweet.
Well, let's talk a little bit of the finals. First of all, I want to get your take on this because going from 5 games to 7, if there is in the championship, if there
Yeah,
is significant economic increase, I'm all for it. But I did think the players looked a little tired on Game 5. So
they
I'm wondering what you think about it.
Yeah, I thought they were fatigued, right? And sometimes, my most favorite quote when I was coaching and still to this day parenting is that you're going to give 100% of whatever you have, right? If that's 60%, you rolled your ankle, but you're going to keep playing. You hit your finger funny, fell hard on your back, like there's a tap in that you as an athlete you go to, and I think you saw that happen with all of the players almost, right? And I think Stewie also made a comment about, man, we need a couple more days in between, especially if there's travel involved, although they are, yes, on charters and it's not whining, but there has to be a better way to preserve the recovery efforts, especially during the finals. And now going 7 games, I just think that there needs to be maybe more, a couple days in between, so that they can really show who they
Yeah.
are out being fatigued as much. And not, I mean, the games were super physical, as they should be in the finals. However, I just think they need more time in between each game. And I know with Game 7, that's if it goes all the way to 7, there's got to be more than one day in between if you take out the travel day.
Yeah. I think it's a delicate bridge between exposure, expansion, rev share, all the things the players want. It's
Yeah.
what Major League Baseball discusses all the time about the number of regular season games on their schedule. And
Yeah.
then when you get to the playoffs, you want to be fresh and you have to have depth to do that. And so there's a lot of things that factor in there. Like you can't have it both ways, but there's got to be a balance in between. And I think you can have it. You can figure it out. So,
Yeah. Great.
for decades, we've been putting games in windows that maybe did or didn't get a rating, but there
Right.
was no sales following up or no advancing the product from an economic and sales and marketing standpoint. And that's what the players ultimately wanted, right? They wanted to increase the sales and marketing of the league so that they could make more money.
Right.
But you can't have one without the other, right? So unless there's somebody that's just going to drop a bomb of $1 billion on us,
Right.
because that doesn't seem to have happened in the 28 years of the league. So I think we've made incremental, really incredible steps forward, and I'm excited about. If there's a lot of smarter people than me on the economic side doing the books and all the things that matter for what the players want, and I hope that even the conversation brings to light what the players do want and why it's important.
Exactly. And I think it is. It's all about the product and how great of a space the WNBA is in right now, right? And not only do we need to protect it, we need to water it in the proper manner so that it continues to grow in the exponential rate that it is growing, right? So we want it to look at its best. So when the players are fully restored and recovered, that's when they're going to play and compete at their best, at their top level. So I just think that that needs to be considered. And again, not whining and complaining. This is real facts. This is like there's stats on this in terms of sleep time, recovery time, and the optimum meal prep and all of the things that you need to do to prepare to compete at the highest level.
Yeah.
That needs to be considered. And I think that's a real fact, and I think there are stats to back that up. So it's not just playing the violin like, oh, they need more rest. No, there are statistical, actual, tangible evidence and factual statements that back that up. So I just think that they need to look at that, and with going 7 games, I think you have to respect it even more if you're going to extend the finals.
I'm glad they opted out, because they do need to explore a lot of opportunity, and it'll be good moving down in the future. And look, I know you got a hit to do because it's opening day of the NBA for you.
Yeah, no,
Um,
I know. It just got really busy in that little green room area, so I'm gonna go out here by the cafe.
hey,
This is real life. We're
that's
good.
part of what we love about this podcast. It's anything goes, really. I mean, wherever we are, we just try to do the best we can.
I'm trying to get the people out of it. Okay, no, I'm good. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
We're
Well,
doing
I don't.
aggressive.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm done.
Oh, it just got too loud in there. It just got too loud. But I think just real quick with the finals. I know it was over 3 million, close to 4 million if you count streaming and all that stuff, viewership. What did you think about just how New York was able to finally get their championship in New York?
Well, I think it's great for the largest media market in the world. Well, in the United States, anyway. I don't know if that's true about the world, but I think it's great for the league that they won. I think it just proves how much. I mean, the parity in in the games were great. I went on the ESPN Bet show on Sunday morning, and my points were um, I thought Minnesota would keep it close. It was a 5.5 point spread, and New York did win by 5 in overtime, so that covered. Jonquel
Right.
Jones needed to get to the block. She doesn't necessarily like the physicality down there, but she was 1.4 points per possession. So
Wow.
while she shoots the three, they didn't really have anybody to guard her. She could really put the whole front line in foul trouble, which I thought she did some of that. Sabrina off the ball, getting involved in the second and third actions, not the initial action, I think is good for Sabrina. Although her numbers didn't indicate it, I still think
Yeah.
there was some fatigue there because, and I don't know what her GPS is on how much she moves without the ball, but she's on the move a lot. And then, Stewie just, didn't have a good back-to-back couple of shooting nights. But you know what? They had enough. They had a bench. They built their bench to the season, and I do think that Stewie traveled. I think it was not a foul. So I don't blame Cheryl for being as animated as she was in the post game. I think I would have felt the same way. And I think I probably would have done the same thing, regardless of the fine that might be coming, if one at all.
Absolutely.
But um, that doesn't take away from the competitiveness of the 5 games. I still think it's too physical. Like I always say, you can be physical on the block, on the glass, at the point of screening, but the rest of it, you need to jump to the ball and get the hell out of the way and let the game free flow and show our skill. We
Yes.
don't need all that bumping off the ball and holding and grabbing and not letting somebody cut off a screen. I mean, I don't know. I don't like it. I wish we'd clean it up. But as I always say, there's no freedom of movement written in the WNBA rule book. It comes under the category of speed, rhythm, balance, and quickness, which nobody says,
Right.
so I wish they would clean that part of it up because I think that would even make our game better. Our game's so good. I mean,
Yeah.
I've always said the product is the narrative. I have T-shirts that say the product is the narrative. I've always pumped and pushed because
Yeah.
I do believe the quality of the play is outstanding. And then when the quality of play is good, all the other things you care about as a player can be elevated from your platform to the issues that you care about, and that's so important. And I think that keeps moving forward. I think the college game is a reflection of that, and I'm looking forward to that starting soon.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to touch on, the end of that game, kudos to New York for having the depth. And like you said, Sandy Brondello got a championship in her first year coaching in the WNBA and now got another one. The first one was with Phoenix. And so when you have those kinds of things be the narrative of the travel that was missed, right? And the foul, was it a foul or not a foul? And it kind of took away from New York actually having confetti falling on them and winning their first championship for their organization. So it was tainted, and I hate that it was tainted, but it was true, right? And if I'm Cheryl, I I am livid, right? I mean, there was a whole travel or two on that play. I mean, there were several steps before the ball hit the deck, and I mean, and if that was the back breaking play, and that's what you have to live with until the preseason in the spring, that stings.
Yeah.
And that as a competitor, you just want it to be fair, right? And
Right.
she said it. Cheryl said it in the post game presser. She said, you know, if it's a foul and a hold down there, it's got to be a foul and a hold down here. And it was a 25-8 discrepancy on free throws. And maybe you say, hey, well, the other team was attacking the cup a little bit more, and that's why they got to the line more. Okay, but at the same time, the egregious travel was the one that really stood out to me as being like, wow, you can't even go past that. Like, I don't care, foul, no
Yeah.
foul, foul, no foul, whatever. But it was a travel first, so it's a moot point, you know. So just and I love the officials, and I would not want to do that job. And I am not, saying that I would do it better. All I'm saying is be fair, because the moment is there and then it's gone, and you can't come back and say, oh yeah, we missed that. You're not going to change the end result, which was the championship for the
Yeah.
opponent, right? So
That's why that's why we have the challenge. That's what the challenge is for. And the challenge, I don't know how you can look at that on replay and not see no contact. And you can't go back and put the travel on it. That's not a part of the review. You're not allowed to do that. But that's where you would have, if you saw that, like I don't know. I mean, it's just doing the right thing. It's just
yeah,
doing the right thing.
yeah, and that just makes it tough. And for Minnesota, I saw Nafisa Collier's comments afterwards, and she posted that picture, where
Yeah.
she was getting cracked in the face, man. I was like, oh my god, because I know when I was coaching, I used to put up some Instagram pictures of kids getting their hair pulled out and scraped, across the neck and stuff, and it wasn't cool. And it's frustrating, and it's sad because you don't know how many more times you're going to get to that position,
Right.
be able to strike and get another championship for your organization, or your first one ever as an individual or a coach or whatever. So it's really, as a competitor, that's really a stinging feeling in your gut that you
Yeah.
have to sit with for months now.
And
That's
those of us that have followed the league for as long and since its inception, which, I'm in that category, I believe you're pretty close to that category. Um, we remember the days when Cheryl used to throw her jacket and rant and rave and not speak to the media, not do the sideline,
about that,
hits, all the stuff, right? And I admire how she's changed. She said, I asked her about it. She changed because of her son, Oliver. She didn't want Oliver to see her doing those things, and uh, I, I, I just wonder how much she wanted to just jump off that bench. She is right about a third party. I did think that was an excellent point and a really good solution. And maybe the way the games ended will lead to that. But I tell you what, I mean, I just keep going back to how good the game is, how good the games are, how good the talent is, and once again, if anybody from the NBA, WNBA is listening, I want all expansion at one time. Build the infrastructure now so we don't have to have an expansion draft every year. Let's put all those new teams in one conference, let them play not just themselves, but play the other teams, but not play New York four times. Maybe play them two,
right?
and not have to play them four times. And as an expansion team, end up with 3 wins or 4 wins on your record because it's not going to be easy as an expansion team to win. So
Exactly.
we'll see how it goes. I'm just gonna keep throwing it out there because I think it's a
Right.
crazy idea that might have a solution or some ideas to it. That if we've got somebody out there with $100 million, let's take it.
Yeah. Beyonce, give us a call. That's my girl. I keep thinking Beyonce get a team in Houston. I don't know. We'll see. But I know she has some money that she wants to help support the WNBA. But anyway, just really quickly, I know that we have a short amount of time, but I would be remiss if I didn't discuss a hot topic in the WNBA right now, which is 5 jobs are now open in the head coaching position. in the WNBA. I don't know if that's an unprecedented number, but I don't remember it ever being that
Yeah.
high.
That's interesting, right? 5. I was a little surprised at a couple. Some of them I was not surprised. I wonder who is ready. And I wonder if more franchises consider outside the women's game and look to the men's game because we've seen that happen. Certainly, Nate Tibbetts is an example of that. Um, I'm just hoping that whoever it is that gets hired in these franchises is ready and can have success. That it's not
Yeah,
a learning curve. This is no longer some sort of stepping stone, and it's not an escape from the college portal, NIL, all that stuff. This is a real opportunity. I think the salaries are going to increase as well as the players' salaries increase. I hope we could fire off a bunch of names, but I'm not going to do that because we all have heard rumors about this and that. I just hope that whatever, I always believe when you hire somebody, it's your job to support them to the fullest to make sure they have every resource they need to succeed, and you've exhausted every resource that you have to help them. And then if it doesn't work, it's not the right fit, then that's when you move on. But I
right.
hope that we find people that fit the proper places. I think free agency has a lot to do with it because as the money starts to come in, the free agency piece of it changes. Um, and and I think it's business, right? People move around. We have to remember this is a business. This is
It,
a business, and it should
it
be
just,
treated like that. It's not a Title IX.
yeah.
It's a business.
I understand that, and I love that that is the sentence. But for me, I'm such an empath, and we've both coached, and you know how much time you spend in prep and the relationships you build with the players and the people in the organization and over the years. And for me, that's always going to be tough. And I understand it being a
Yeah,
business. But when you get attached, like emotionally, like I do, it's really hard, to say, and it is true that it's a business, but it doesn't mean you have to like every aspect of that notion. And for me, it's so tough because I know the investment of time that coaching is, and I know the investment of emotion that coaching is. So I kind of see it on that side. So yes, it's a business, but it doesn't mean I have to like what that feels like on the
yeah.
personal,
I
emotional
know.
side.
We
I'm
have
not saying
relationships with all of them, right? Yeah, you have relationships with all of them. I mean, let's just hope that if they want to get back in, that they can recycle in another spot. I do think there are some really good assistant coaches that should be given a shot that I think are ready. All right,
okay.
Christy. Well, good luck with the launch of your how many years with the Wizards?
Oh my gosh, too many to count. It's
Yeah,
probably 25, to be honest.
that's
Yeah.
25.
In different capacities. Like I was
Yeah,
working cable access at first, for free for years when the babies were little. And then I guess it's been at least maybe 15 years, just in different capacities of pre and post game shows. And the last 5 years I've been added in the rotation as an analyst. So I'll be doing that as well. So they play Boston tonight, so it'll be fun. We'll see what happens. Boston shot the
sweet.
ball the other night, so we'll
I
see
know.
if
I saw. How many threes did they make? They made a record number of threes.
29, but then they went 0 for 13 down the stretch, and 30, I think, for the record, but they were firing that thing. And it was really comical at the end because the crowd knew. They were like, one more, please, just get one more. And
Yeah, I saw that. That was cool.
it was so fun.
Well,
I'm excited for it. So thank you, honey. Yeah.
keep it rolling, sister. Have a great day. Thanks for being with us, all of our listeners on Her Hoop Stats, Hoopin with Christy and Debbie. We enjoy being with you on episode 20. I can't believe we've knocked 20 of these out in the last couple of months. Pretty cool.
I love it. I love it. And I love you and all the best. Send me those pictures from the bus. And I love
Uh,
you so
all right. Kill it today. You guys be well. Thank you.
much. Bye, babies.
See ya.